Alright, so I'm going to take everybody on a tour of our garden. First stop, you get to see Joshy loading up buckets full of bark. Having fun, Joshy?
There's a whole bunch of bugs biting.
Joshy's filling up buckets of bark. Kitty Cat's laying in the garden, keeping him company. In this corner, we've got Mitzi's garden pond, full of a bunch of wildflowers. Back there, we've got our stinging nettles. And over here is another patch of wildflowers and some various pots. Back up a bit, we got our garden shed. We swing over here, you get a nice panoramic view of the garden itself and the greenhouse. And then we'll start the tour over here with the, we got 2 beds of strawberries that are doing quite poorly. I think we're going to tear them out this year, fill them up with the raspberries. The raspberries seem to do really good. They're more fun to pick and we enjoy them more. We got our 2 beds that are full of asparagus. And it turns out we planted these beds too close together. I had no idea how big asparagus gets. And then we've got, too close, artichoke plant number 1, artichoke plant number 2, artichoke plant number 3 is back here, it died, and artichoke plant number 4 also died. We replaced him with a baby, but he just got to get bigger. In here's our greenhouse. For this summer, we got Venus flytraps. You'll see we keep the doors open, but we put bird netting on here because the birds love to come in here and eat everything. And also the cat loves to come in here and break in and get his catnip and sit on all the plants. So we give him a little bit of catnip every day. But anyway, we got all of our tomatoes. And then we got over here some green peppers. And then over here I've got the Venus flytraps that Jason got me. It actually started out as 1 plant in 1 pot, but I've propagated it now. And we got 4 pretty healthy plants. You can see they're even flowering. Okay, we got a couple of raised beds. These had all broccoli and cauliflower, but they're done for the year. We harvest that we could, and then the rest bolted. That we save. It's partially an aphid trap, and it also serves as rabbit food. We just break off leaves every day and feed it to the rabbits. Over here we have our bed full of kale. Again, I think the rabbits eat more of this than we do. This bed has the beans in it, and in the back you can see some marigolds. This is our bed full of garlic, which is getting about ready to harvest. And our lettuces. The lettuce have also bolted, but it's still quite tasty. This bed usually has the peas in it, but the peas are also done for the summer. So we got some coriander and carrots, and back there is a volunteer sunflower that just popped up out of nowhere. We go over here in this bed, we got some peppers. They're planted at the same time as the ones in the greenhouse, and so we're doing a comparison of greenhouse peppers versus outdoor peppers. We've got many more tomatoes. These ones on the outside are the Roma tomatoes. They're a determinate bunch. Inside here on the strings is an indeterminate, I believe they're beefcakes or IBTs, I don't recall which. Over here we have another 5 plants of Roma tomatoes, but they're kind of getting completely entangled in the pumpkins. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. No, I don't really care. It's just kind of fun. We got a couple more sunflowers there, and all of my valerian root. It's right there. We cut it all down because it was just getting too tall and unmanageable. And as we spin over to this side, we've got some onions. This is my onion experiment. All of these onions were of the bare root variety. When they got about 2 weeks ago, I cut off the greenery on this half because I read somewhere that encourages them to sprout up more leaves and to get larger. So we'll see if that works. This is our bed of potatoes. I prefer this Ruth Stout method because it's so easy to harvest. Back there you see we have some more sunflowers. And this is another onion patch. These onions were bought of the bulb type. So this is the 3rd part of the experiment. They were planted around the same time as the bare root. I read that bare root actually grows better and bigger than the bulb, and as I do this video, I'm just now suddenly realizing that the bare root variety was planted about 2 or 3 weeks later than this, and they are indeed bigger. So that's actually very interesting. In this, oh, right here is our little grape archway. These were bare root grapes purchased last year, and as you can see, they're very quickly becoming quite overwhelming. In this bed, we're looking at here is a row of straight 8 cucumbers, some more marigolds. I believe these are spaghetti squashes, and they've grown right into our more tomatoes. These are the giant tree tomatoes. Back there we have 3 eggplants, another volunteer sunflower. I guess the birds did a number on the sunflower seeds. We got only 3 zucchini plants this year. I think last year we planted about 6 or 8, and we were just more zucchini than we could even feed the goats. I think even the goats and chickens got tired of zucchini. This is one of my favorite beds. It's not looking so hot anymore, but it was my favorite because it just had a little bit of everything. It had kale, broccoli, cauliflower, green cabbage, red cabbage, some celery, which is still growing. It's got some, I think these are pansies. Over here, some more cilantro, some more celery. That is another spaghetti squash that I found in a pot somewhere we forgot to plant. So it's got a bit of a late start. We'll see how it does. Marigolds and 3 little corn, because there were some spaces on the dripper and it had 3 corn seeds that were sprouted, so I put them there. And we go over to look at this bed. We got some more lettuce. I believe those are lemon cucumbers. The far left side is basil. Again, more sunflowers, just because they're pretty. And then this drip system here where you see all the baby corn, that was a cabbage that for some reason just went straight into bolting mode, and so we never actually got any leaves off it. The goats and chickens loved it, but I just pulled it up and decided to plant a row of corn here. I know when you plant few corn, you should probably do a patch as opposed to rows for self-pollination, but I had all the drip line here and the space, so I just planted it for fun. And this bed is the row to the far right is watermelon. In the middle is cantaloupe. They're getting completely mixed together. I think again we have a couple more volunteer sunflowers. Mitzi just can't seem to weed them when they grow, and so they they just stick around. There's some more celery. I just stuck it there because once again we had extra spots on the drip system, so it's just free. Some pretty little flowers. And oh man, for the life of me, I can't remember what this is. It's obviously a squash of some sort. I don't know. We'll find out what it is. I forgot. Up here on this archway is thornless blackberries, and my goodness, we are going to have pounds and pounds of blackberries this year. And if we go through this arch, we come over here. This was supposed to be an arch of raspberries. I didn't realize that raspberries were a bush. I thought they were a vine, like the blackberries. This started out as 6 bare root raspberries last year, and it's completely taken over this corner to the point I'm gonna have to dig it up this fall. So we're getting more raspberries already than we can eat. I think more have fallen on the ground than the kids have eaten, which is great. But if I let this go unchecked, it's going to take over the garden. It's just too massive. So over here is our watering system. It's pretty simple, but you know, I think sometimes simple is very elegant. We just put a timer on, so we can pop that on for 2 hours. That 1/2-inch poly pipe goes under the ground, and it comes back up there. We got the filter, and then it's got 4 feeds that go into the ground. These 4 feeds go to various beds. So one of those 4 feeds, you know, pops up here, which just gives me water over here by the greenhouse. It pops up again inside the greenhouse, so I've got some water inside the greenhouse, and then every single bed comes up as such. Again, some more examples of how we've watered each bed, and I really like this system. I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and it's very simple because We just take the 1/2 inch PVC or the 1/2 inch poly. We go to a hose fitting, and this is like a 50-cent valve, so it's cheaper than any valve you can get. It's made for drip systems or PVC valves. I think I bought a bag of like 15 of them for like $8, so super cheap. The nice thing about this is I can just turn the water system on, the timer on, and then I walk over, and if I want this one to get watered, it gets watered. Turn it off. And so in order to water the garden, we turn the timer on for 2 hours, and then we just walk over to whatever bed we want and turn on that valve. So you'll see the drip system. Each bed has its own line that pops up and its own little valve on there. And so we can water 2 or 3 of these at a time with the drip system. So the entire bed can get watered in an entire day with very minimal work. Now, the mistake that we made this year is we got a lot of stuff planted first, and then we came back in later and did the drip system. That's why you see it's kind of woven through here in just kind of a haphazard way. That's where we planted the plants. What I think I'm going to do next year, or this fall, is when the plants come up, when the plants come up, I will treat the soil. Maybe I rototill, maybe I put mulch down. I haven't decided yet. But I'm going to take this drip system and I'm going to weave it back and forth in a serpentine-like way, and kind of stake it down. And then next year, when I go to plant, that just basically defines all the rows and the spacing. So I will just stick plants wherever the tubing is. So I don't have to worry about making all my lines straight, because I just follow the dripper and every plant goes in right where the dripper is at. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to the fall and next spring, where I can basically redo all this again, a little bit more efficient. So anyway, that's the tour of the garden. I know I probably rambled a lot. I know there's a lot of wind. I'm hoping you could probably hear me through the wind. And I think that is all I have to say.